Years ago when I moved here to Bathurst, New Brunswick, I hadn't even heard of sea glass. And when I discovered what a rare treat it was to find a piece of sea glass, I became addicted. But I also developed another hobby along the way, and that's bottle collecting. And I just love the shapes and the patterns that we find on the old bottles. And I love to show people the origin of some of the old glass that I do find along the way. For example, I have this glass doorknob. Many homes featured glass doorknobs in the Victorian era. And this is a glass doorknob that comes from the home that I grew up in. And it's the last reminder that I have from that home. Well, interestingly enough, I found a piece of sea glass that its origins are the glass doorknob. I also have in my collection a piece of sea glass that never broke. This is a completely frosted pop bottle that has all the etchings that the sea has to offer to sea glass, but it never broke. A remarkable piece of glass, obviously was made very strong. I really like the old pop bottles. A lot of them come with some interesting designs on them. Then over in this corner I have some of the old rum and liquor bottles. This one here, I don't know if you can see, it has a little lean on it. Maybe the person that was making it had a little drink before you poured the glass that day. This here is black glass, which is very rare to find on the beach. And it's an old bottle. We can tell underneath by the pontil marking where it was broken off the rod. This is an old, very old, probably the oldest bottle I have in my collection. I also have Avon products. Avon made a lot of these cranberry products in the 60s, and some of our sea glass could come from some of these products. So this is the cranberry glass collection, and it comes with salt and peppers and a butter dish, and you would have gotten it filled with an Avon product. I have also pottery pop bottle. Before pop was put into glass, it was put into pottery, which is interesting. I had to pay quite a bit of money for this. I didn't really like to pay that much for it, but it was worth adding it to my collection. Down here in the corner, I have another piece of pottery, and that's an old foot warmer. They would have used that to warm their feet on their way to church in the old wagons, and even brought it into church with them to keep their feet warm at church. This is the natural color of glass right here. That's because some of the copper or iron residue in the glass. So a lot of this glass is from the late 18th century. The blue glass that's treasured when we find it, I call it the fisherman's sapphire, because the fishermen were using a lot of the products. They were using Noxzema for their face, Vicks Vapor Rub for their chest, milk of magnesia for their upset stomachs. Brown. A lot of people often think that brown is just beer. Well, any of our household cleaning items or items that needed to be protected from the harmful rays of the sun was placed in brown bottles. So medications, household cleaners, as well as beer. Cod liver oil came in the brown bottles. And then up here on this shelf we have some of the opaque or milk glass. You have Pond's cold cream here, and probably you recognize these mugs. Hydro insulators, I find a lot of big chunks of sea glass are attributed to the hydro insulators. We have the canning jars. The bracelet that I'm wearing has its origin in the canning jars. So this is pre-1900 canning jar color. The Atlas Company was making it at that time. So as you can see, even the history of bottles is fascinating, and it tells us a little more about the sea glass that we find here.